Hello and welcome to my latest drum weirdness. Behold, hopefully you can see it black on brown. But anyway, and it might not be too weird right now, but wait until the end because it gets weird. What isn't weird is that this is all pretty standard. This is a Roland SPDX Pro on a Gibraltar sand that's meant to hold it, a Roland FD7 hi-hat pedal. This is a Roland KD7 single pedal trigger, a single bass drum pedal trigger, and just a Tama pedal right there. Pretty standard right here. It only starts to change when you hear this sound. Hear that? That is Velcro on there. It is not actually attached, screwed to the plate the way they normally want you to do it. The plate is in on this pole and in there really good, not going to move, but I do that because I want to be able to switch this out easily between that or the Roland Hand Sonic, depending on what I'm using at the time. And the cords on the back are good for either one of these. Now, because the plate isn't attached to the back and only Velcro is, both of these fit into, that is, either one fits into this bag. Now, this bag will hold the SX Pro or the Hand Sonic, as well as all the cables and stuff that it might need, little extra things, sticks, and whatnot. So when you're walking with this is kind of your main brain for the day there. But the cables themselves actually stay attached to this stand. I roll them up and wrap them up with that Velcro there. But all these cables are good for either unit, and it's also good for whatever I'm doing at the place. There's a cord there for the hi-hat and a cord there for the KD7. There's also a left and right 1/4 inch coming out from the master left and right for the mixer for the main sound. There's also a separate thing which is controlled by headphones, which comes back. It's a single 1/4 inch on that side and comes back to a dual left and right 1/4 inch for a monitor. Because with all the sound out there, you'll still want to hear yourself out here. Now, I still have to sit on something, which means I'll have to bring a throne, which is more hardware. This is really the only hardware I wanted to bring. This stand fits into this bag. And again, the cables are all wrapped with this, and I don't change this at all. It fits in this with just the plate sticking out the top. So 2 bags there. So if I brought my throne, okay, yeah, I could sit here obviously and play this, Hand Sonic, tap away with sticks or whatever. But then I thought, why don't I bring something that's somewhat useful? This is a Roland electric cajon. In its own bag, has its own cables, and it's a little low to sit on. But if I sit on it, then I actually have this available for use. I take it out of the bag and I just sit there. This has its own separate power supply. It also runs on batteries. So if I want to, I can stop and play this instead. And that's great and everything, but it's also a touch low. I'll put it that way. It's just a little bit lower than I really want to be seated. So I have this little cushion that I sit on like that, and everything is where I want it to be. But again, I don't really use that so much, because if you've got an SX Pro in front of you or a Hand Sonic in front of you, you're not really going to need that. I mean, handy to bring, but kind of big to bring when you're not really using it. But I still wanted to hear this thing and sit down. So I thought, do I have anything like an amplifier that I could sit on? This actually rolls in and rolls out. I could hook everything to this and maybe put this thing on here even, but this is really high and it's just not that super comfortable. Look how high up, look how my legs are. This is actually just not that comfy, and whoa, it's heavy, and it's not that powerful for how big it is. It's only about 100 watts. So I thought, well, I have a smaller Alesis speaker, and this thing's pretty powerful. I use this as a monitor in other bands for vocals and things, but it's really small. It's really small. Even with something like this on it, it's just too small. Well, I keep just about everything. And years and years ago, a drum throne, a cheaper drum throne that I had broke. But I kept some of the parts and used it for other stuff. And then a light stand also broke, and I kept some of those parts. And I went, wait a minute, I've got those parts. So I took the old throne, put the old light stand mount onto it, and then cut a pole to size. Well, most speakers have those poles, the openings on the bottom. So guess what? Yeah. Look at that. The actual amplifier now is the throne. And it's a great height. I've measured the height. This is perfect height. It's an actual throne. In addition to that, this rug that I bought, it's a 3x5. It hides most of the cables. There are some cables on top, but they're hard to see because of the design. But a lot of the other cables are just underneath of it, just like this. Now, here's the power cable. You hide all that stuff. Up here's the out, blah blah blah. You hide all this stuff, right? But even more, when I went to sit on it, it's a little wobbly, right? Well, like I say, I keep everything. This was what was packaged in the actual speaker box. Look how that fits perfectly under there and keeps that thing from wobbling really good. So in addition to all of that, the rug itself also does things because these pedals are attached to the rug. This is attached with just little screws. This pedal's attached, the trigger's attached. And I didn't have to drill any holes in any of these because there's holes in all this stuff for various spikes and things of that nature, and it works just fine. I poked some holes in the rug, there you go. But even that wasn't quite enough because I still got to pack all this up, right? Sort of. I don't know if you can see this. On the very edge, I cut and attached bungee cords on both sides, widthways, both sides lengthways. So what I end up doing is I never take these off of the rug. I take this stuff off, put it in the boxes, put this in their own little respective bags, and the rug folds up. The pedals stay attached and fold inside. The bungee cords attach, and it's just this little bundle under my arm. And these rather valuable triggers and pedals are ensconced in the rug, and they're completely fine. So I come in and put this rug down, undo it. Pedals are already attached where they're all right where they need to be. Take this out of the bag, put it down. It's already set up with size. The cords are already attached. Everything's in the right direction. I pick which one of these I'm going to use, put it down. Put it down, and it just attaches. Plug the stuff in the back because all the cables are right here. This cable would go to the mixer for the speakers out front. This cable comes here for this monitor, which is just pulled out of a box. This, by the way, this seat is right in the middle of here in this rug. Put it down there, and here you go. Ready to go. I just sit and start playing. So the sound comes out from here as though this were a real drum set, just coming forward from here, not only for me, but for the band around me. Meanwhile, the sound is also coming out of the speakers out front, and I can feel it and hear it really well. It's right here. So keeping time with this stuff, I can feel that in my bones.